At a California factory, it took less than 2 seconds for a machine operator's life to end. A hand was pulled between a fast-moving conveyor belt and a hidden tension roller, leaving no chance of escape. How does a routine fix for a jam transform into a disaster this swift? The mechanics behind this fatal entanglement reveal a danger more common and more misunderstood than most realize. Beneath the surface of a typical factory conveyor lies a complex network of moving parts. The belt, made of reinforced fabric or rubber, stretches across a series of rollers, each serving a distinct purpose. At the heart of this system is the tension roller, a cylindrical shaft, often 6 inches in diameter, mounted beneath the conveyor frame. Its job is to keep the belt taut and running smoothly, but this same roller creates a narrow space where the moving belt meets the turning metal, the NIP point. This is not a wide-open gap, but a slim arc where the belt wraps tightly around the roller, usually covering about a quarter of its circumference. For a belt 18 inches wide, that contact zone runs the full width, forming a hidden hazard that spans nearly 2 feet across. The nip point sits just inches above the factory floor, shielded from casual view by the conveyor's side panels. From above, it is invisible. Only by crouching down or reaching underneath does this danger zone become accessible, a detail that matters when jams or debris collect below. The path from safe working space to deadly hazard is short. An operator's hand or a tool can cross that threshold in a single motion. Once inside, the belt's constant movement and the roller's torque work together, exerting force far beyond what a person can resist. The design leaves little room for error. Even a brief reach into this narrow channel places fingers, hands, or sleeves at risk of being caught and drawn into the machinery. The physical arrangement of belt, roller, and frame creates a hidden hazard that is both precise and unforgiving, waiting in the exact spot where routine maintenance often leads workers to reach. A conveyor belt moving at 16 inches per second leaves almost no time for intervention. When a hand or sleeve enters the nip point, the tight curve where the belt meets the tension roller, the physics are unforgiving. The roller's circumference, about 19 inches for a 6-inch diameter, completes a full turn in just over 1 second. At that speed, any object caught in the pinch is drawn in at the same rate as the belt itself, covering the span from fingertip to shoulder in less than 2 seconds. Escape is impossible once contact is made. Human reaction time averages half a second, but the belt's relentless pull outpaces any attempt to withdraw. The force at the nip point is set by the belt's tension, often between 50 and 150 pounds. That grip is enough to crush tissue and snap bone, far exceeding what a person can resist. The roller's torque, powered by a multi-horsepower motor, multiplies this effect, driving the belt forward even as resistance increases. Calculations show that a limb entering the danger zone is enveloped almost instantly. The gap between the belt and guard, if one exists, is measured in millimeters, but in this case no guard blocked access. The crushing force does not pause, does not hesitate. It pulls, compresses, and traps, all within a window too brief for a shout or a second thought. The numbers leave no doubt. Once entanglement begins, the outcome is determined by physics, not by strength or willpower. The system's speed and force combine to erase any chance of escape, making the presence or absence of safeguards the only real variable. On the factory floor, the rhythm of production rarely paused. Workers spoke of a daily push to meet quotas, a pressure that shaped every decision at the line. Clearing jams quickly became an unwritten rule, even when it meant bending safety routines. Conversations among operators, sometimes in hurried Spanish, circled around the same frustrations. Warning signs posted in English only, training sessions that moved too fast or skipped key points altogether. For many, the instructions for lockout and guarding were unclear or simply not available in their language. This is what neutralizing a hazard looks like: engineered barriers, clear isolation points, and a process built to withstand the pressure of production deadlines. A 6-step checklist now stands as the frontline defense for anyone tasked with clearing jams or maintaining conveyor systems. Each item is written in both English and Spanish and posted at eye level beside the machine controls. The first step is simple but absolute: stop the conveyor and isolate all sources of power. Next, lock out and tag every disconnect switch using a physical hasp and a personal tag. No exceptions, no shortcuts. The third step requires releasing any stored energy, either by bleeding pneumatic lines or by loosening tensioning bolts and confirming release. With a test start on the control panel. Only then is it safe to open the guard, using tools to remove fasteners that cannot be undone by hand. Clearing debris comes fifth, with the strict rule that only tools, not hands, are used to reach beneath the belt. The final step is supervisor sign-off, a signature on the permit to work form that verifies every action has been completed and checked. Competency is not assumed. Every operator must pass a hands-on demonstration and a short, practical test with questions delivered in their preferred language. Emergency stop cords are checked for spacing, ensuring that no point along the conveyor is out of reach. Training records are reviewed under Title 8, Section 3203, with supervisors required to document each verification. For questions or help, the Cal OSHA consultation hotline is listed alongside the checklist, a direct line for advice in both English and Spanish. These tools are designed not just for compliance, but for real-world use, empowering both workers and managers to act before tragedy can strike again. Despite decades of safety standards, conveyor nip points remain among the top industrial killers in the U.S. Every day, workers reach for a fix, sometimes at the cost of their lives. Prevention must become habit. Until that happens, the risk moves with every shift, waiting for the next small mistake.